Today we'll be talking about part 4 of the power factor series. In part 3 we understood the problems associated with flow of reactive power in transmission line. We basically saw three problems. The first problem is increase in transmission line losses. Second problem was transformer capacity blockage. This transformer can be the transformer in the transmission line. Also, this transformer represents the transformer to in the load end. The third problem that we saw was voltage imbalance due to the flow of reactive power in the transmission line. Today we'll be seeing what actually we can do to solve this problem and what are the different techniques that we'll be discussing in the further slides. So yesterday we saw, suppose this is a grid or the source, and here if there is a load, and if this is a transmission line, and for a moment let's assume the power factor of the load is 0.85, then this load requires certain amount of active power and certain amount of reactive power. And because there is no arrangement near the load to feed reactive power, it is requiring this reactive power from the grid. And because of this, all these problems are happening. Now there is a simple solution to this. I will draw the same arrangement. There is a grid, there is a load, and I'll simply connect a capacitor here in the load end. Suppose this load is a motor, so with this motor there will be source, and then I'll connect a capacitor bank here. Okay, so this capacitor will feed the reactive power required, and from the grid this load will only require active power. Now if there is no flow of reactive power in the transmission line, because whatever the reactive power is required by the load, it is fed by the capacitor located near the load, then all this problem will no longer be there. Alright, see, there is a very important concept here. People usually miss this concept, and the concept is, in the load, suppose this is a load, okay, and this load can be any load. Suppose it is a motor, and the power factor of induction motor, if you see, it will be near 0.8, 0.85, right? The 0.8 power factor means it has 80% of active power requirement and 20% of reactive power requirement. Alright. Now we understood that reactive power, because of this reactive power there are so many problems, as I saw here, all the three problems. So what can be done to actually go through or to actually reduce these problems? We cannot minimize the requirement of reactive power of the load. If there is a motor, it will require a certain amount of reactive power to generate magnetic field. We cannot do anything about it. That is a very fixed thing. So the problem is not because of power factor or the requirement of reactive power by the load. The problem is that requirement we are asking from the grid. That is the problem. Alright, so what we can do is we can supply the reactive power requirement by the load locally, and thus we can actually reduce, or you can actually completely vanish all the three problems. Alright, so we understood here is that we cannot do anything about the load power factor. We cannot do anything about the reactive power of requirement of the load. It is required, it is necessary. All we can do is we can minimize the flow of the reactive power in the transmission line. In other words, we can minimize our dependency on the grid or on the transmission line to supply the reactive power required. Alright, you can remember one line here, and you can actually write it somewhere, that reactive power should be as local as possible. It should not flow in the transmission line. Alright, Now what actually is happening when you are providing a capacitor here? So I'll draw a simple phasor. I'll draw a phasor diagram. See, suppose this is a voltage, alright, and let's say this is the IR or I active. That means the current associated with the resistive part of the circuit or current associated with the active power. And suppose this is your IL. Because of inductance, motor will have inductance, motor will be having winding, and because of that there is certain amount of inductive part, and obviously it will lead the voltage by 90 degree, lag the voltage by 90 degree. Alright, so somewhere here will be your IR, and this is your phi, and this, or let's say cos phi 1. So cos phi 1 will be power factor. It is happening in normal condition. Alright, now what is happening? I am adding a capacitor. So capacitor will draw some leading current. Alright, IC. So the actual reactive current will be IL minus IC. So IC is little less than IL because we have not completely fixed the reactive power requirement. We are asking slight reactive power from the grid, and most of the reactive power we are supplying from this capacitor. So let's say this is the I reactive now. Before it was this. Now because of this capacitor it has reduced to this. So now the resultant current will shift here, and this will become phi 2. So cos phi 2 is new power factor, and from here you can easily see that cos phi 2 is greater than cos phi 1, or power factor after capacitor is greater than power factor without capacitor. So that basically says that whenever you install the capacitor near the load, it will improve the power factor, and by improving the power factor we are actually vanishing all the three problems associated with reactive power. In the next video we will be learning about different techniques of installing the capacitor bank. There are various techniques like APFC panels, automatic power factor control panels, static var generators, or fixed capacitors. So there are various techniques that are used in the industry. So we'll be learning about all of them and in great detail. Hope you like this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment and ask your queries on this video. Thank you.